Alright, let's get into the fifth review of this UR talk, and this was the review, or these were the cards from last week, in fact. And the first card we're going to review is Spud. Now, Spud is from the All-Stars, and Spud at 4 stars is a 7/4 with the ability of minus 8 opponent's attack, min 5. Firstly, Slify, what is your initial thoughts on Spud?
Nowadays, kind of mixed, but at first I was pretty much a hater, but not to that extreme. I still gave him a 7 out of 10, obviously. It's a solid 7 power, which is great for an All-Stars. And he's minus 2 off power, that's potential 9, virtual, whatever. The minus 8 off attack is great, because, as I said before, power manipulation and attack manipulation at once, almost never a bad thing. And his only real flaw is his damage, but a lot of people were telling me, how that's not the hugest of flaws, and I'm starting to agree, just because a card like Gibson, not really high damage at all, but is a very dominant card. And I think Spud may have the same effect. Same time, I don't really see him replacing cards like Miranda or anything anytime soon.
Yeah. But what about the ELO banning, though? I thought I would throw that wrench into the works on that one.
Right. If Marina and Striker are perma-banned, which I'm not sure if they are or not, because I didn't follow.
Well, I think they're temporary banned by staff, so they might get unbanned, but there you go.
Right, okay, well, if they were, let's say they're both banned for whatever reason, and you need a 4-star, I would probably use Spud over Alexi, or whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna half deck All-Star, if you're gonna full deck, I'd probably use Asperov.
Okay. And out of, what was your initial thoughts on it, Prime?
Well, pretty good. He's kind of related to Mona, I think. Also power manipulation, attack manipulation. Not so big, but different.
Okay.
His minus 2 powers goes to 1, so that's good. His minus 8 opponent's attack goes to 5, so that combines good, I think. But yeah, still 4 damage.
Okay.
He wins his battles.
Yeah, I think the only issue I had with him when using him was he does require quite a lot of maths to use. It isn't a bad thing, but a lot of the time you're going to be getting out your calculator with this one. I mean, I played against someone on some YouTube Federation thing, and he used his Mindy, and I used my Spud. I just went blindly at 2 pills or something, and he went 3 pills of Mindy. It was so much kind of things to calculate with all the minus attack and all this sort of thing, and also the minus power and everything, that there was a bit of a problem. But at the same time, I mean, that's not a huge issue, but I don't know, you might get a bit bored getting your calculator out all the time, I suppose. If you want something quick, then I wouldn't say Spud is a good thing in that sense. But at the same time, though, I think Spud is okay. My only huge problem is just that damage. It's just it's really not as good, I suppose. And I think, as Slify said, though, I mean, some people could compare him to Gibson, but at the same time, Gibson also has the SOB, which is why I feel Gibson is, so amazing, I suppose. But that's just me, really. Anything more to really add on that, I suppose?
Well, maybe on the calculator. Yeah. ELO champions always say, keep your calculator ready. Seriously. So that's a good advice for anybody trying to get with that top performance.
Quick question, Prime. What do you think his base price is going to be on? Just out of curiosity.
Base price?
Base, what he's going to drop down to and where
well, he's pretty interesting investment wise. First of all, because of the bans, he could indeed replace some of the 4 stars. Second of all, he's 4 stars, so you can very well fool him and get a proper amount of cleanse for that.
Right.
And he's common, and commonness under these circumstances is good because you can make a big lot of him.
Right.
Take 100 pieces and watch him fluctuate, sell them on the right moment, and you'll have profit.
Okay.
And the low price would be, I don't know. That's difficult with commons, but since this is a decent one,
Well, I don't know if I'd say it's a decent one. I mean, it's just an interesting one for...
I think it's a pretty decent one. Like,
yeah, for
his low damage is his only real flaw.
Yeah. I suppose, yeah. He's interesting, I have to say. But that's just me.
I don't know, what's his price at this moment?
Like 1.3k.
That's the first week.
Wow, that's gonna drop, of course, but let's say,
But then you can say that though, but he could be just like, Baba, or Booba from the Django.
Yeah, and then because of the large numbers, he will never really rise.
You can't argue that. I mean, and also, he's actually a very good card, but it's just because, I suppose he's support, that maybe that's why he kind of dropped so much. I was surprised when he was down to like 300 Clint's or whatever.
Bubba.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's weird. It should be higher, indeed.
Should be higher.
People stack a lot, and I also saw this with the other cards, like Ulrich.
Ulrich, okay.
Really good card, damage reduction against Geist or Roots, but he never got above himself, you know?
Okay. So I think we can go straight to our ratings now, I think. So, Slify, out of 10, what would you give Spud?
I'm gonna pump him up a little bit to a 7.5, just because it just occurred to me that without Marina and without Striker, the 4-star and All-Stars isn't that amazing. And he'll be a pretty good substitute. I wish he had more damage. I wish he was a 7.5. I think he would be amazing if he was a 7.5.
Yeah.
But he's not, so I still think he's a 7.5. Maybe I'm being too generous now because people were talking to me and changing my opinions on him, but he's not a bad card anyway.
Okay. And out of 10, what would you give him, Prime?
I would say, 7.
Okay.
7. Because he's useful in many ways.
Okay. Well, to sum up all our arguments, I suppose, I mean, Spud is an interesting card. I mean, as Slify said, the attack manipulation plus the power manipulation is something that it's just so nice to have, I suppose. And I think if you had like a card like Kang, I mean, for the 3-star, I mean, he's a very useful card, maybe a bit overshadowed by Rob and Randy, of course, but still, he was a pretty good card. I suppose the only issue is, as Slify and we've said really, I mean, the damage just isn't enough. Unfortunately, people can just throw away their DRs on top of this card, which, on the one hand, you got a DR out the way, but if your opponent's hand's full of DRs, then it could cause a bit of problem for you, I suppose. So, I suppose I would give this card a 7 out of 10, I suppose. So, there we go. And, we're now going to be reviewing probably one of the worst cards in the game. This is one of the worst releases I have seen in a while. It's so bad that, this description of him will be quite long. But we're gonna be reviewing Seiho.
Oh yeah.
Oh bad. Oh man, this is, Seiho at 3 stars for the scales is, a 6/4 with the ability of -2 pills, minimum 4. Oof, this is... Silence has crept into your talk.
Gigantically bad.
Well, let's be a little fair now, okay? He's not as bad as like Razor or like Bob Jovi or anything. He's bad, but...
Oh man.
He's not as bad?
I would play him over Razor, I think.
Well, Razor has chances of becoming the next CR, so I think he's at least worse than Razor.
Well, he has pill manipulation.
Yeah.
I think that's a good thing.
I'm checking that. Yeah, he still has pill manipulation.
Right. So if he wins, he's good, I think.
I think, unfortunately, this has to be one of the worst releases I have seen in such a long time. I don't know why, but Urban Rivals, the staff of them, keep releasing really bad scales. Is there any reason why they've been doing that, Prime?
I can't make up something, but I'll do. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe because they're preparing for someone of the skills team to leave the skills team. as a CR, and they have to, keep a good enough quantity of cards flowing around of this clan.
Okay.
I don't know.
My personal opinion is the fact that Skills already has so many good cards in the clan. Actually, they don't really have that many bad cards at all. They have the balance.
Oh, sorry. I've lost
really
you
bad,
there.
Now's their bad time.
Sorry, I just lost you there, Slify. Sorry, what was that?
I said, Skills already has so many good cards in their clan. Like, they got Proxy, they have... there's so many good cards in the clan. There's barely anything you can consider bad. Now is their time to get bad cards, and so there's a little balance involved.
Yeah, suppose, but they haven't had a good release since Kylus, or I suppose you could say Corvus, I suppose, but...
Well, you forgot Praxi, don't forget.
Oh yeah, they did have Praxi, yeah, to be fair.
Good.
Praxi's good, yeah.
Well, Praxi was revolutionary even.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, first card to go to
a min
0 minus life.
Yeah, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can go straight to ratings.
Let's
be very quick with these, I suppose. So Slify, out of 10, what would you give this card?
I want to keep it 5 out of 10 just because of the artwork, but that wouldn't be very fair. So I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10. I think that's way too kind the first time.
What do you mean by his artwork? It's still pretty bad.
I think it's pretty good artwork for, a guy who turns to a girl, personally. It could be a lot worse.
It makes me...
Trust me.
We will not use that against you, of course.
And out of 10, what would you give him, Prime? Or her?
Well, it has no investment use also, I think. So, for UR staff, it would be a 10 out of 10. They really got their objectives going with Saho, but for us, it's... almost the opposite. So I will add to that 1 because of generosity, then another 1 because it's skills, and I get to 3. So that's 3 out of 10.
Wow.
I really can't give more, yeah.
Well, yeah, I would probably follow suit with you there. I'd probably go down to probably a 1. So here you go. A 1 out of 10. I'm sorry, in summary, this card just has absolutely no uses, unfortunately. While it does have the pill manipulation, which is alright, this still has a minimum of 4, which makes no apparent sense, I suppose. It could be good maybe for the newbies, so maybe, I don't know, maybe the staff wanting to release kind of poor cards maybe to get the newer players into using Scales because they have the protection bonuses, or protection ability, they may be wanting... to get them into learning that ability, I suppose. But unfortunately, this card is just quite bad. Yeah, go on.
Sorry for keep interrupting you too, by the way. But some people are probably going to say this card is similar to Ansem from
Bronze.
Completely reject that claim because Ansem has SOB, which will protect and keep, and
he's better.
Well, yeah, it's much better than everyone, but if you just look at the cards and ignore stats and all that stuff, they're almost identical except for Ansem has a little bit better pill manipulation. Just don't be fooled by thinking Ansem's a really bad card because this card's a really bad card. That's all I'm gonna say.
Alright. Well, yeah, unfortunately this is why I'm probably giving him a 1 out of 10 for that reason.
That's good as Bob Joby.
Yeah, that's nearly as good as Bob Joby. Bob Joby's at 10 though. I mean, he's Chuck Norris.
This is the second comment.